Oh my gosh. Perfect timing.
Hi.
I didn't know if you still had stuff, so I just hit live and then you popped up and I was like,
No,
perfect.
I'm a mind reader. I know these things. So I happened to finish everything I was working on really quick.
Oh, no, that's perfect. It's always fun to have a friend.
Yes, I agree.
And you look so cute because you're all ready to go.
Thank you. Yes, I was filming. That's why.
I know. Well, I'm using my winter wash routine now, and the first week I use it peels my face,
Oh yeah, you're getting
So
rid of all the dead skin and stuff. Yeah,
so I put on makeup and I was like, oh, yeah,
makes it worse.
I need to not put makeup on so they can just peel off my face.
I hear that.
It's so gross, but I know it's good for my skin.
Right. Well, you get that new baby skin underneath. So
I know. It'll be all good and everything, but
yeah.
I'm extremely lucky with my skin. Honestly, I've had great skin. So I can't really complain when I get a little bit of dry because I'm even through all my kid years, I had so little acne or issues with things. And I'm like, the Lord knew I had enough going on too.
It's like, I will grant you this.
Right? Some of my friends who just literally had Proactive was so big when we were.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That never worked for me. I tried it and it never worked.
Well, some people it just doesn't, but it was the one that Britney Spears was using whatever. So everyone does it. I'm like, you should see a dermatologist. You shouldn't just go buy that at the mall.
Right. Exactly.
Make sure you can have it.
It was weird because when I was in the age where acne usually is terrible. Sorry, my thing's gonna go off. Anyway, when I was in that age, I had beautiful skin my entire life, and then I went on birth control and it was still fine, but it was when I went off birth control my body just rebelled.
It's one of those things. Look, people hopping in. Hello, Emily. Hi. Shadowless by Randall McNally. All right, haven't heard of that one, but Daniela, hello, my love. Good morning. Yes. Watching while you work. Well, wonderful, Sarah. Thanks for
I'm working too.
I know. Bree's always great because I'm like, hey, can you get away with popping in? Because it's we'll do productivity sprints.
Yeah.
You do stuff. But yeah, I just lately too, with my job being my fun stuff, I get drawn into all this little things and then I don't read because I end up doing all these piddly things. So it's when I pop on and do productivity sprints, it honestly helps me because I'm like, there's people watching you read.
Right.
So read your book and don't.
Right. It's a set time for something set to do. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, we're doing it today. So hi, Melissa. I know, Melissa, I hope your work day is going better. Who said she wanted to smash her head through a wall.
From Melissa.
I was like, girl, we're here for you, man.
Yeah.
Here for you. Hi, Patty.
Hey, Patty.
Trying to eat your lunch and reading Miles High. Oh my gosh, I want to read that. Top of my list, but so is Funny Feelings and 50 other things.
I know, right?
I know. I'm so yes, and this author, Taylor, I need to read her. Carissa Broadbent. She has some on Any Play. Oh, hey, big sis. Well,
of course you are. Where else would you be going?
I know, right? Have done. Yay, you made one. Oh, great. Gonna fold laundry. Love it. Hello, Risque Writer. Excellent. Okay, well, what is everybody else reading? Everyone said hi. Tell us what you're reading. And then the main purpose of this for me is what I was reading the other night, but now I'm much further. But I'm going to try to finish this. So I'm going to do a bit of my speed reading with it. I mean, I'm liking it, but we got to get it moving because I have Brooklynaire, The Highwayman, Broken Whispers, and A Curse of Queens that all have to be annotated this month. So I got to keep the annotation train going.
Have you read Brooklynaire?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yep. The only one of those I haven't read is A Curse of Queens, but they're all ones I haven't annotated yet.
Okay.
So this month, people kind of picked ones that I haven't. But Heartless, luckily, I've already annotated, so I can just copy those ones. That I'm sure that one will get picked almost every month this year because my favorite usually gets picked a lot. Which is great. And hopefully the audiobook will be out by the time I reread it. That's kind of why I'm waiting. Because I want to reread with the audio.
Yeah. I'm hoping it comes out very soon.
Yeah. Well, last time when people got the ARCs, it then dropped like 3 days later.
Right. I remember that. I remember seeing Lizelle reading it, and then all of a sudden the audiobook was out.
Yeah. So there's hope that it will drop really quick. So okay, let's go see. What are you reading, by the way?
Me?
Yes. Or are you working?
No, I listen to an audiobook while I work usually. I forgot the name of it. It is Everything I Left Unsaid by M. O'Keefe.
Ooh. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I actually hadn't heard anything about this book until I'm reading it for a reading blog, but I hadn't heard anything about it. So it's all completely new to me. I knew nothing about it going in.
Oh, Melissa, I feel you with this. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah. When I was an assistant in the workplace, like my boss would come in and drop something for me to do, which was fine because I'd be like, great, it's really straightforward. But then like I would handle it immediately, and 2 days later, like, oh, did you do this thing? And I was like, I mean, I do that within 5 minutes of when you're giving it to me.
Right.
I was like, I mean, I'm answering phone calls and scheduling meetings. When you drop something, like I do that immediately, even if it's your like dry cleaning thing, like I get it out of the way. That's what you pay me for.
I'm on it.
Yeah, like I'm doing that. But yeah, and then when people just don't say what they mean. But I also get it from a sense of like, if you don't have personalities that gel well or know how to do stuff, like sometimes you have to talk in circles to present your idea because people will be butthurt if you have a better idea than them, which is such a stupid thing, but it's true. Like you have to like come at things from a side angle. Whereas like I would be like, just tell me what you think we should do.
Right.
Trying to crab walk into it. Like
I know. I hate that. I also don't like when people are indecisive, like especially if you're in a leadership position and you're telling people what to do. Like don't wish wash. Just freaking tell me what you want and we'll do it. And like if I have a problem with it, I'll bring it up. But don't be like, well, maybe we should. What do you think about? Like, no, what do you want? Like you clearly know what you want. Just tell me.
Right. Because I will tell you if I don't agree. Like
right.
Whereas some people like wouldn't do that. I don't know. But anyway, good luck, Melissa. Good luck.
Yes, good luck.
Funny girl. Oh, you're starting with Accidental Witness. All right. That's a well, I wouldn't say necessarily more conservative place to start because that series is a whole thing on its own, but it's definitely a unique place to be starting with her. So good for you. Good for you. Tangled Up by Sophie Andrews. All right. We have another Serpent and Wings of Night. Yes, love it. Teacher's Pet Wolf by Katie Wilde. All right.
Read more by Katie Wilde.
Yes, yeah. I'm off to work now, so my plan is to start this back. Oh, that's right. We were talking about the bully last night. So she was so funny because I have obviously walked through many people reading these books. Walked through many. And it's like, it's this person, or like, tell me if I'm crazy. And I was like, no, I'm not going to tell you if you're crazy.
Right.
And she's like, oh, well, it won't hurt anything. And I'm like, well, no, it won't hurt anything. But that's the whole point of this series is for you to guess who this person is.
I shall not spoil it for you.
Right. Well, because I love that because even at this point of these having been out for over a year and a half, like people don't realize that it's a mystery. So when there's these things that are a mystery, it's like, well, what's going on? I'm like, that's the point. It's a mystery. You get to figure it out.
Yeah. But
I love that. So I'm glad that you're liking it. You're starting The Longing of Lone Wolves. Oh, good. Yeah, I've been putting off the newest book because I want the audio for it, but I also don't know if I want to wait because that one has a deaf hero and a neurodivergent heroine in the newest one. And I'm like, Lana, he's a deaf fae. And I've been excited for his because he's the brother of someone previously. And like, I think it's the brother's fault he's deaf or he was blamed for it. I can't remember why. But so we've been hearing about him. And now that the brother has a mate. What?
What's the first book?
That's The Longing of Lone Wolves. Yeah.
Oh, that's the first book?
Yeah. They're in like 3 trilogies. So there's the wolf trilogies, the vampire trilogy, and now we're into the fae trilogy. But they're the same thing. And it's cool. They're post-apocalyptic, but they're fantasy because like
Oh, interesting.
the way the world was ruined, it evolved people into fae. So like it's amazing.
The cover is great.
Yeah, and the first 6 of them are on AnyPlay. Like,
Yeah,
they're amazing. Yeah, and then the next 2 weren't on AnyPlay yet, but they're on Audible. So
nice.
those are what I listened to when I was making my quilt. I listened to that whole.
I love that.
Oop, people are the worst. Yes,
this is true.
Mm-hmm. The sales rep was originally an engineer and he isn't the best comedian. Oh, see, that I'm used to dealing with, or that's what I dealt with at Microsoft a lot. Is they would get so deep into technical questions with customers where like, you're not that person anymore. You're the sales rep. You need to like more quickly move through this and use your knowledge to help you sell better because you'll know if this person needs it. But we have engineers who get paid to do that. You're not getting paid to do that anymore. Oh, yes. Hello.
The prison.
I saw you finished that and didn't love that too much. Yeah. I'm holding off on that series, Mel, because it's one that like Karina Halley has kind of pulled the rug out from under me so many times because it's going to be 4 books is what I believe. And like, unless like it will be a trilogy now, I don't know. But she never said it was going to be more than 1 book until after the first book. And then I thought it was going to be a duet. And then when I was reading the arc of the second book, it had a cliffhanger again. And there's going to be a 3rd one. And then like, I don't blame her for this, but she's had mental health stuff. So then it keeps getting pushed. So I'm like, and then I heard maybe it will be 4 books and it's not a trilogy. I don't know. But I was like, I was not told this at the start. Like you tell people this at the start, like you're Karina Halley. People are going to read your books, whether you write it as a duet or 4, but like, I don't know.
Especially when there's cliffhangers and stuff. I feel like that. And also it concerns me when a book is originally supposed to be either just a standalone or a duet and then they extend it because then it feels like sometimes the content can just feel like it's stretched out unnecessarily.
Yes. Like that is something that I'm completely there for. Like if you plan it as the duet, usually it can work. I usually would still rather have it as one and wait till they're both out. But when things get stretched in the duets and trilogies and stuff, like I had a whole big discussion about this, especially as it revolves around like Anastasia, because people complain about the length of that. But also I don't like when a book should be 1 book and it gets split into 2 or 3 so that an author can make more money faster. Would that have been better for Sophie to have it in split up? Probably, because she could have had more money coming in earlier if she did that. But the content of the book is 1 story arc. You don't just split that in half just because, but a lot of indie authors have to do that for their money. And like, I can understand that, but I also can be like, well, then maybe you should have it all written before you do it. So you can do that. Like with Maggie Cole's duet coming out, she's got February 1st, March 1st, the books are written and done. And oh my God, they're so beautiful. So like, going in, there'll be a cliffhanger, but also you only have to wait a month. So,
yeah.
Anyway, this is me it's the things I've learned now. Broken Bonds, love it. Oh, you're bored. Oh, sorry.
I'm curious about that. I'm very curious. I've heard mixed things.
Yeah, the 5. I need to read more Lily White. This has come up in my recs because I read a stalker romance by Lily White and I enjoyed it quite a bit. Gianna Darling, and you're starting with Lessons in Corruption. I mean, it depends what you like more. Do you want?
Do you like age gap? If you like age gap, then read Lessons in Corruption. But
yeah, with an older woman. The heroes duet is fabulous in my opinion. Very tight, well done. That was a duet that's like planned as a duet, and I think that it was done well. So I would, but I think it depends because I read her motorcycle stuff first because the other stuff was not. Gotta cook and listening to Batter of Wits. Yes. Carla Sorensen. Okay, I'll get through these and then we'll do a sprint so we're not doing this forever. But your sweetie gave you a shirt with a bear drinking coffee and reading a book. Well, good for your sweetie. He knows you well.
It's true. That shirt is correct.
Yeah. Listed hate and getting something physical to read. Love it. I don't know how I feel about those books. I read it because the audiobook was available. Yeah, yeah. I like the idea because it's a Death in the Maiden retelling. And is it Norwegian fairy tale or I can't remember, but it's from that version at it. So I liked that, but again, she's kept splitting them up, and I don't know what she's doing with it. So I started Longing of the Lone Wolves as well. Nice. Love it. Usually like her writing, but it fell off. Definitely could be. I don't think Anastasia should have been split. Yeah, I know. And for a fantasy book, if you take the pictures out, it's like 550 pages.
Yeah, that's not, I mean, like, it's a lot, but it's not like out of control.
Right. It's not too long for a fantasy. That's a
Right.
standalone. Like, anyway, we're just spoiled. It's all part of a bigger conversation of like, we want things now. We want them to be a certain level of spice. We're demanding of this. And then when it's done, it's like, oh, well, this was just too much sexy time in it. I'm like,
No.
What are authors supposed to do?
I know. Make up your mind.
Yeah, just write me a good book.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so I have the beautiful timer. I do have this first one set for 40 minutes so that I actually get like a lot done, because I find that for 10 minutes I don't get anything done.
Well, yeah, no, definitely.
But we can do some shorter ones after this if it's too
40
much.
minutes works for me.
Yeah. So we'll do that, and we'll be back. This will make the lovely bird sounds, everyone who hasn't been to one of these before. So there's some lovely twittering birds that will hopefully not disturb anyone's animals or pets or anything. All righty, here we go.
So pleasant.
I know. I did have a little loud that time. It always goes back to the same volume.
Oh,
Yeah.
save it.
Yeah. But, well, that was very productive of me. I'm so proud.
Me too.
Got through. I should be able to finish it in the next.
Oh yeah, you're definitely gonna finish that.
Yeah, it's such an interesting thing. Like the Scottish themes, like were still in there, and then it's also like has historical vibes too, because they're like lords. So like there's a ball and there's like
cool.
dancing and things. So it's such an interesting mix of genres for what you think you're getting with this cover.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, it's really cool. But
and it just looks like it'd be more futuristic, if anything.
Right. And I mean, it definitely is. It's just the futures of those countries kind of thing, you know? So, yes, Polly, it's nice and bright and beautiful. I need to.
Gorgeous.
I know. I have to take the sticky off and clean it after I go to the gym. So, but no, it's turned out good. Feels like I got punched in the shoulder a little bit, but
yeah.
But that's okay.
How long did it take?
It was an hour. It was an hour. It had so many like little lines that like, and also it's a newer artist. Like I knew, like I don't mind having an apprentice when it's something like this. It's not like I was getting, but I can definitely tell she's being very, very careful with everything, which is fine. But that can hurt when, you know, when they're taking a lot of time. And then she switched the needle to use like she did the finest needle to do like my writing, and like when she got over to this, I was just like, okay.
Yeah, it's more sensitive there.
And it was funny because like there's this dude getting this like big arm piece, and the other artist had to like okay it since it was a apprentice doing it, and he's like, man, women can really take the painful tattoos. And I was like, dude, you're getting your whole arm. And he's like, I know, but like that skin is like dead to me. And I was like, nah. I mean, I really like the vibrations and stuff. Like, I don't know.
The sound and everything. It almost is meditative.
I mean, it really is. It's very, like, it definitely starts to hurt by the end of that hour. Like, I don't know how well I do with a big piece. I've never done a big piece, but.
Well, it's that like hurt that's like, it's irritating because it's like you're getting scratched in one spot over and over and over again.
Yeah. Before I ever got a tattoo, my friend described it as like when you scratch a sunburn.
Oh, that's a good way of describing it.
And that's always how I've thought of it. That's how it feels, is like when you like press your nail into that. But anyway, I'm really contemplating like turning this arm. Like I don't want to do like a sleeve or anything, but I kind of want to turn this into like my bookish shoulder.
Oh, I love that.
And like, because I want to get, the next one I want to get will have like something Outlander. Like I want to get that.
Yeah, I'm surprised you already have something.
I know. Well, I couldn't decide what to get, and that not what everybody has.
What does everyone have?
Well, I mean, like they have like the thistle, or they have blood of my blood, or they have, you know, the stones, or one of the symbols on one of the books, you know. And I don't mind. I mean, obviously, lots of people by now like have this. But like I picked a line that was personal to me.
Right.
So I need to find that. And then what I was thinking about when I was debating like, oh, I think I want to add to it, is I want to pick some of the little like symbols off of like Juliet's book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because those I feel like would just look so pretty, fit in between things, and then
good filler.
Right. I don't know which I would do, but there's some just like some really beautiful ones on this one's hard. There's like a folder.
Yeah.
On this one. Or like the mask. Like, I love
that. Yeah.
So those are things I'm thinking. I was like, that would be cool because I could do like hour-long tattoos that add to it. But I would probably do like just like a half sleeve of things.
Right.
For the years. Like that's just what I'm contemplating, because there are obviously other books I want to get on there too, but all right, let's see what people were reading here. So 40 minutes was a perfect for getting the steps in while you're watching Tiffany's wrap up. I love that. I love that. My friend's mom has a huge house, and she'll do that while her husband watches the news. She'll like walk her laps around. And
that's funny.
Yeah, 12 pages done. Nice. 40 pages, 8 chapters. Nice. The pain will go. Oh yeah, no, it's honestly like the worst phase of a tattoo for me is the itching phase. There's that
itching phase is the worst.
3 or 4 days where you just like I have taken divots out of my tattoos from scratching before, so I'm very careful now. And like I know you can get it filled in, but there's the pain of an original tattoo, and then there's the pain of getting a tattoo filled. That is like, oh my gosh. With your baby skin, and when they have to go in, like when I had to get my like lumos filled in, holy crap, I did like cry. Like I had like because I'd scratched some of the ink out of my like L and the O. And then there's just a little bit of like fading. So when I went in and got this tattoo, she was like, oh, well, let me just pop over and fill it in for you. And I was like, great. And that hurt like a mother. It was so bad. So I very much try not to scratch them so that I don't have to have things touched up. But it's very fine writing. So when it scabs, you might lose some of it, and just have to do it. But
yeah.
Also, right now, Camille's an apprentice, so her rate is pretty cheap. So if I decide to keep adding while she's still pretty cheap, like it's good. You know? So anyway, thank you very much. You're all so sweet. A Wild Highway. Oh yes, that's Devaney Perry, right? That was the other one I didn't mention. My audiobook I'm doing is I am continuing the Clifton Forge series now. So I started listening to Riven Night when I was getting my tattoo done yesterday. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, that's an arranged. Well, not arranged. It's a marriage of convenience, and so it starts with them like getting married. It's really nice. Middle of chapter 3, and you have questions already. I know, Daniela. There's so many questions with the spy she's talking about. Women are more accustomed to pain than men. I mean, sometimes. I mean, I say in general, but if you haven't, like, if you're someone who never had bad periods, or you haven't had a baby, or you haven't do it, like, then you're just like anyone else. It's not like you haven't it. Because, like, I feel like people who have been through a lot of it are like, whatever. And there's some dudes too. There's dudes who've been getting hurt since they were a kid, and so it's like, whatever. I think each person has a different pain tolerance, but I do think we're pretty tough. But Teacher's Pet Wolf. I started Prince and Assassin. Oh, okay. My tattoos never hurt that much. It only starts hurting when I do a redo. Yes. Yep. That's exactly it. I really don't want to do that, and the itching is the worst. Yep. Nope. I learned that I put my own like bandage back on top. When I reach the itching phase, I put the lotion on it and I cover it. So if I end up scratching, I'm like scratching the gauze on top. Right. I make sure it gets to breathe and it's healing, but when it starts to itch, I'm like smack something down on it. Really, for me, there's more pain in doing the lines I'm pulling up. I mean refilling, Daniela.
Yeah.
The lines, I agree with that, but like refilling spots is what hurt me, because I had scratched out a middle piece, and so there was a big white skin spot that had to be filled in, and that's what hurt. It wasn't the original filling. That was all kind of just numb when you do it.
Because you're right, it's baby skin, so it's very sensitive.
Yeah, they've literally like filled the epidermis with something, and it's regrown now a color. So. And it loses this pretty, very dark color and turns the more gray of everything. But I almost did this as the watercolor one, because a lot of people got it with her watercolors behind it. But I just
I love how they look, but I wonder how they age.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't know because of how fine this is, but
Mhm.
this is one that, because it's so bold, like I would get this touched up over the years
Yeah.
if I need to. Like I've thought of getting this is my oldest one. This one's a decade old now.
Mhm.
And I've thought of like getting it recovered eventually so it pops again and
Mhm.
maybe like adding to it. But anyway, you must be printing stickers
I am cutting, yes.
or cutting it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I heard the cricket or something.
Yeah. I live with the sound all day, every day, because it's usually what I'm doing in the background of everything while I work.
I love it. All right. Well, should we do another 40-minute or a 30-minute one?
I think I'm actually gonna go because I just
Okay.
realized it's 1 o'clock and I haven't eaten lunch yet, so I'm gonna go do that.
No worries. I mean, thanks for popping in for this one.
How
And
long are you doing it for?
I'll probably do another 40
Okay.
and I should be done with that. But then I have some other stuff to do. So I
Mhm.
might then do some more because, like, I don't have anything today until 5 and I need to get stuff done. So,
Right. Yeah, I might come back on like when I'm done eating lunch, but
okay. Well, enjoy your food then.
I
Talk to
shall.
you
All
later.
right, bye, everybody.
All right, friends. Okay, well, I'm gonna throw up another 40-minute one then, like I said. And the goal is when we get back to be done with this. I have only let's see. I have 80 pages left, and I got through about 80 pages last time. So I think this will go pretty quick. So I'm gonna do that, and then yeah, like I said, I have some like video prep to do, or I might start another book. We'll see what mood I'm in. But we'll do another one of these, and maybe Bree will be back with us for another one at the end. But let me go ahead and share it again. Lizelle, I want to try the Edens by Devney Perry sometime soon too. I need to get back into her, and that's the series that I've started already. Is the Clifton Forge. Also, that's Jessen's favorite series, so that's why I want to finish that. But then, yes, I definitely want to try some more of hers. And I'm so jealous that you finished the Heartless audiobook. I hope she throws it up soon. 40 minutes, but Jenn's weekly wrap up is 48. Well, this video as a whole will be very long, so people can rewatch and do it. You just got an e-arc of Joanna Shoup. We raise your hype again. Well, I hope you like it. I hope you like it. Obviously, I had good feelings for that book, but each book works for each person. Okay, we are starting. Let's go. Yay! I just finished it. I didn't think I would because right as I was starting to read, I got an email that I had to handle right away. So that got in my way of everything. And I was like, oh, dang it. But I still was able to get through it. But yeah, and that's my Patreon exclusive read, but I will tell you, I liked it quite a bit. So it's also good I finished that because I could film that review today, which would be good. Get that out of the way. I do think for the next sprint I'll read, though. I think I might start Broken Whispers. I think I'll reread that one because that one's a pretty short one. And I didn't get through too many books this week because I was physically reading a lot. And on Saturday is my niece's birthday, so I won't be able to film my weekly wrap up until Sunday. So that's going to go up a day late. But it'll be nice to read a couple of short books, so I'll do that. But yeah, let's see. People are talking about Elsie Silver's group. Yes, I definitely applied for her influencer group. Hope I get in that. I was trying to get her for an author interview for the release of Powerless, but she's a bit overwhelmed, which is totally understandable given how popular her stuff has been. Like, totally get it. She's been overwhelmed. So maybe for the next book, we'll try again. Yeah, author interviews. I haven't had the greatest luck right now. But that's okay. There's some people that I have in mind, but now I'm not trying to get anyone planned until after my vacation just because it's too difficult to try to plan that with everything. But yeah, so anyway, how did everyone's reading go? It is not updating your stuff in StreamYard. That's annoying. Like, I know you guys are commenting, but it's not showing up in StreamYard, so maybe it'll all come through at once or something. But I will have to switch over and look at what people are saying on YouTube instead. Let me go over here. All right. I had to switch over here. Ashton's in the chat. Hello. You said you finished your work tasks early, so you're spending time reading on the couch. I love it. I love it so much. Angelia reads, I'm 77% into Twisted Hate. Great. Both of your cats just flew at the patio doors because the bird alarm was there. Oh, that's so funny. Candace said, I want to read that Zoe Draven, but I have promised myself I will read the last of the Horde Kings first. Yes, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I wonder if they're going to connect in any way, because I remember when she finished the Horde Kings, there was like a post about how she's going to do a new series, but it was going to loosely connect somehow. So I'm not sure if that will happen eventually or what. But I really want them to connect someday because I think there's definitely room for that. Oh, Daniela, you just got to the third POV. Yep. Now you're getting some revelations for sure. I stayed up so late when I got that arc because I wanted to know who the spy was. And I knew there would be another third POV. Like, I knew there would be a third POV that I had no idea who it was. So I kept reading and I found out who the spy was. And then I found out who the third POV was. And I was like, oh my God, my brain is broken. So I just it was so much. It was so great. And then I had to go to bed because it was so late. Patty, you are 25% into Mile High. Yeah, it's a tough time for author interviews. Yeah, I think a lot of people are burned out from the year before. And also, specifically the two that I've had to keep moving and canceling, it had to do with health issues. And I mean, I'm not upset about that. Obviously, I would never be upset. It's just, I feel bad for the authors because I know that then they feel bad. And I just want us to have a good time. So if people aren't healthy, I don't want them to come on. But it's sad. It's sad when, when you want to have people. So, right now you're ignoring your TBR and re-listening to ACOTAR on graphic audio. Oh, I totally get it. Totally get it. Makeda just joined. Hey, Makeda. Well, I just finished reading Desire in His Blood, which is the most recent Zoe Draven, book 1 in the Brides of Calora. And this was an arranged marriage, enemies to lovers, alien romance. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one quite a bit. It had some Beauty and the Beast vibes, because like the father's in a lot of debt and there's this alien. He's basically like a berserker vampire alien type guy. So like there's also like Scottish mythology in here because berserkers are like a Highland Scottish thing. So it strangely had like some historical vibes in it too, because there was like a ball and there were like lords and ladies type thing too. So yeah, it was really good. And I mean, it was also a vampire with all those other things. So I really liked that. You're finishing an advanced listening copy of Keep This Promise by A.L. Jackson. I want to read more A.L. Jackson so bad. Like the cover, like I bought quite a few of her books from her at Wanderlust because I read one of them and I didn't love it, but I didn't dislike it. And her books are so beautiful and they all have tropes I really like. So I've bought a bunch of them and they're definitely in books I want to read this year because I want to get to those. Ashton, you started the first Horde King book after Love and Desire in His Blood, and they do seem to be in the same world because the Uranian Federation, or the Iranian, I don't know how to pronounce that. It's too close to some real human words. The Iranian Federation has been mentioned in both. Lizelle wants the audiobook for Desire in His Blood. Yes. Zoe Draven always has really great audiobooks. That's how I first read The Horde Kings of Dakar. Is the first 4 were out on audio, and I read them all in a row. They were so good. And Sarah said, you're reading In It to Win It by Sharon C. Cooper. Love it. Yeah, I do not know why my comments aren't updating in here, but at least I can read them on YouTube. So, yeah, like I said, since I finished this, let's see, it's 1 o'clock right now. I don't know if Bree's going to be able to come back or not, but I think I'll do one more. And if Bree comes back in, we'll see about it. Otherwise, we'll do one more. I don't know if I'll start Broken Whispers because I do need to do some video prep and everything, but let me grab it. Yeah, maybe I do. I loved this book so much. I'm doing this one for a patron this month, so maybe I will start rereading that. Maybe I will. Maybe we will. Okay, yeah, we'll do a 30-minute one. Let's see, what color do I want to use? Never sure which color I want to use to annotate. I just used like a blue-gray. Should I use? Maybe I'll use a green. I think I'll use green. Okay. Yeah. Let's do it. Okay. I'm going to put 30 minutes on here. and let's do it. Being very productive this morning. I'm very proud of us. All right. Okay. Made some good progress on this. Uh-oh. Did I just freeze up? No, I didn't. Okay. So I'm going to end the poll. I totally forgot that I could do this yet. I didn't know that I had power to do it yet. So let's see. Wow. Okay. So 16 of you voted. So it's not like we have like a huge poll amount, but still. So 43% would like to read more fantasy romance, 31 dark, 18 historical, and 6 contemporary. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because, like, I don't know. I feel like contemporary is one that none of us really have to stretch to read. And I get it. Like, dark romance can definitely, like, be looped in with contemporary. I just always kind of, like, treat them differently in my own head or whatever. But that's okay, Daniela. I threw it up while we were talking. I've seen some like really big creators do polls when they're having a live stream and there's like thousands of people there. And I didn't know that I could do it. And then it showed up and I was like, I'm just going to throw this up there. So we'll do more of those in the future. Like we'll do those again now that I know that they're a thing. I didn't know that I had the power to do them yet. So she says historical romance. Oh, I think you should read more historical romance too. My answer, what's my answer? My answer is fantasy romance because I haven't been reading as much historical romance lately, but when I did my end of the year stats, like historical was still really up there because I read a lot of it in the beginning part of the year. It's only in the end that I slowed. So I feel like I'll get back on track with that. Yeah, so I think I would definitely say that I want to read more fantasy because I always love finding another good fantasy romance. That's what I love. But yeah, I want to read more historical. So it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Well, Candace says she wants to skip to Aquaman. I know, and they do such a good job with the like live action or whatever, the live thing. Like it made Under the Mountain like so painful because like you feel all the pain and everything. But well, thank you guys for coming to hang out with me for a couple hours today. I was really productive. So we finished Desire in His Blood. Now I don't know if I'll film it today because I want to keep going with the momentum. And it's pretty early in the month. I did a good job. So I don't have to get the Patreon video filmed yet. But at least I'm ready to film it. Maybe when I do my filming on Sunday, I'll just film this review. But I want to keep rolling with it. I want to annotate Broken Whispers since it's pretty short. Like you can get through these pretty quick. And then we'll see where we go for next. So yeah, let me see if anyone else said anything at the end here. There's a lot of fantasy that are also paranormal. What's the difference between the two? Oh my gosh. That's a really big question to get into, Daniela, because there are different answers. What I say, and this is for me, this is how I categorize it, is for me, pretty much all paranormal is fantasy. This is to me, but not all fantasy would I consider paranormal, if that makes sense. Also, like urban fantasy, like I said, usually has a lot of paranormal elements. So it's really hard to like distinct this. There's also the difference between like high fantasy and low fantasy. But in general, what I say to me is that all paranormal is fantasy because it has fantastic elements, but not all fantasy is paranormal. But again, that's just me. That's not the Merriam-Webster definition or anything like that. But when I categorize stuff, like I put shifters and vampires and that usually in paranormal. But in the case of a book like Longing of Lone Wolves, that has shifters and fae. And like it's also it's also dystopian. Like where do you put that? What category do you do? You know. So I just tend to pick the most forefront of a book, you know. That's what I do when I'm deciding, but it doesn't really matter. I think we get a vibe. Like, there's plenty of books that get listed as fantasy that they probably are more paranormal because they have vampires and shifters and things like that. But that's just me. That's just where I land on. It's just the vibe that I get. Like, when I'm reading the book, whichever things I feel like it leans towards the most to, like, that's why, like, The Longing of Lone Wolves, I lean that more towards fantasy. Like, I call that I call that a fantasy romance. But really, it's a dystopian paranormal fantasy, you know, like it's all those things, right? And like Juliet's books, I consider that paranormal romance, but there's also some magic. And like Fated Mates, I usually consider paranormal because it's this like animalistic, like soul connection. So I usually consider that paranormal. But then in saying that, fantasy, like the elements of a paranormal, they can exist in a fantasy, right? Because ACOTAR, there are fated mates in those books. But that's like pretty clearly fantasy, in my opinion. So there doesn't need to be a perfect thing. And categories just have to do with how we look up a book in Barnes & Noble or look it up on Amazon or where it's shelved in the library. You know, like the book can be all of the things in it and it'd be great, you know, like Anastasia. That is to me a historical fantasy paranormal romance. Like it literally has all four of those things, right? Because I don't want to spoil it, but it has paranormal elements because of certain things, but it's also a fantasy historical thing. So it's like, it's all the things. So when I'm categorizing a book, I base it off of, okay, what does the author say it is, but also which thing was the most forward for me when I'm reading it. Like, does it feel more fantasy or does it lean more paranormal? I don't know. So anyway, and with that lesson, I will close this out. Thank you so much, my friends. Go check out my video that's out today. It is squirting recommendations. You know you want to. Okay, you know you want to get some of those. Okay, and I will see you next time, friends. Goodbye.